Hey Trisha and the rest of the Naked Army. I guess let's talk about sex this week, huh? My story about losing my virginity, I was sort of behind on my friends. I had those friends that would kind of get around a lot with a bunch of different girls, and to me, it wasn't until I was 18, and there wasn't a specific reason why I waited. I wanted it to be with somebody I wouldn't regret, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you hear these people about, I regret being with this person, I regret sleeping with this person, I regret this person and this person. And to me, I didn't want to regret my first time, and I still don't regret my first time. I don't regret that relationship at all, as a matter of fact. I waited, and on top of not wanting to have any regrets about it, I was nervous about it. I was just legitimately kind of confused about it because there's all this stuff you see in movies, there's all this stuff you see in video games, there's pornography, like there's this distorted image of sex and losing your virginity and being with somebody in that intimate way that I just preferred to avoid the whole thing as opposed to actually going ahead and doing it. And I remember the night, I remember when it happened. We were at her new house, and I came over, and her parents weren't there because they were still moving out of the old house, so she was staying there alone. And kind of like what you said, Trisha, like you just kind of like you think you're just kind of being intimate, and then the next thing you know, it's kind of like, oh, here it is. Like, wow, this is that moment. And we talked about this. She knew that I wasn't ready for the first part of our relationship where we never did anything, and she never pressured me. She just okay, whatever. This is where you're at. She had done it before a few times, and we moved together from there, and it was really nice. And the moment that it happened, it was kind of like, so this is it. And she kind of laughed at me. She's like, "Yep, this is we're doing it." And I had that same kind of mental thought of, "Oh, this is it." Like this is that moment that you've been seeing so much and hearing so much and doing or not doing, I should say. And then you get to that point, and it's kind of like, "Oh, okay. So this is what it is. This is that actual moment." Okay. And it wasn't disappointing. It wasn't fantastic. It was just something I had never really experienced before. I just got out of the shower. I got water all over me still. And the next couple of days, I had that moment like, why was I so afraid of this? Why was this such a thing I was afraid of? Why? Just why is there such a huge stigma about it? Um, and we dated for a while after that, and we were very sexually active. So the advice that I have is, and from my perspective of what sex is, even being a pastor, is don't be afraid of it. It isn't supposed to be this big scary thing. We were created to be with one another. We were created to be intimate with one another. Um, it's what I always wind up telling my friends that are nervous about their first time when they ask what is sex like. I tell them like your first time is probably going to be disappointing because there are no rose petals. Typically, there are no rose petals. There is no music playing. There is no, as Jackie said from that '70s show, there is no banner in the background like she wanted to do for her first time. Like it's going to happen, and it's going to feel kind of spontaneous, and it's really going to change your perspective on it because it will feel like a part of you is gone, but then you feel so much more intimately bonded with this other person. You feel so much closer to this other person now. Hopefully, that's what I got on that. Hopefully, you get that bond with that other person. If you want to wait and if you want to save it until you're married, there's nothing wrong with that at all. That is totally okay to do. If you're gunning to lose it and you're gunning to jump into sexual activeness, be careful. There's lots of STDs, STIs, whatever they're called now. A lot of people don't know if they have something that they could possibly pass on, so just be careful. I wasn't careful the first handful of times that we did it. Praise God, nothing came out of that. We eventually went to Planned Parenthood, we got hooked up with some birth control stuff, and ever since then I've been safe. So just be careful if you're gunning to go out and be sexually active. If you're waiting, that's okay to wait. That's good for you because that is your choice. That is nobody else's choice, and it all has to be when you're ready. And communicate that to your partner. Make sure they know that it's something that you want to do when you're ready with no pressure. It's been an interesting topic to kind of think back and reflect over the past week. I hope you're having a good Labor Day, and I'll talk to you later.